Okay, so what we've got here are some OPUS-2 cards. Admittedly, I'm quite new to the game. I've only been playing for about 2 weeks, and even then, when I say 2 weeks, I wouldn't even really say that. I'd say more or less just spectating. I'm not very good at the game, honestly, but I am learning it, and I've been going to a couple of events from like Opus. I think I've been to like 2 Opus 1 events and 2 Opus 2 events. So yeah, I thought I'd just show off a couple of the new cards that are coming in. If I do state something is wrong on this, obviously let me know, because again, I'm looking to, just kind of learn the game, and I am really tired at the moment. So anyway, let's get to it then. This might not look like a lot, but basically I've kind of doubled them all over. Down there, all little shiny foil things, each of the different sets that I managed to pick up, and these are all the doubles as well. So I'm only going to be showing off each card once, because there's no point showing it multiple times, having to filter through loads of them. So at least one of all the new cards is in each of the piles here. So we'll go through the fire ones first. There are quite a few cards as well that I have played or seen played by a couple of people I've been spectating, and how these cards kind of work, and I think it's quite interesting as well. So we're going to go with the fire set. This here is a card that's out of focus. There we go. So here we go, we've got a Teller here. It's quite an interesting one. You can put Teller in. When you put Teller into the break zone, choose on 4 and deal 9,000 damage to it. So you just tap it, goes into the break zone and deal 9,000 damage to it, which I think is a really nice card. It's definitely one that I was using in a deck that I was playing at an event. Then we've got a ninja card here. It's just a standard unit. I probably should do it this way actually. Yeah. There we go. Standard unit ninja. Got Zell. Oh, I'll try and get this in focus as well. Oh, there we go, Zell. It's a free drop. Summoner. Palom. Obviously pause it as well, and I'll try and make it so the text is quite clear, but I'll try and keep it as still as I can. But yeah, feel free to pause it and have a look at the cards up close, like what kind of properties they've got. Got Ward. Bellius. That's a really decent EX burst card. I quite like this one as well. One of the ones that I kind of pointed out as being quite interesting. As you can see, they choose a forward until the end of the turn. It gains 1,000 power, haste, and first strike, and you also get to draw a card, and it's only for 2 drop, and it's also a burst, which is quite cool. Summoner, which I think we've. Oh no, it was start with Teller. Ifrit as well, which is quite a nice one. Choose 1 forward, deal 6,000 damage to it, just for 2. It's not too bad. Rubicante. I'm not too sure how this one works. When Rubicante attacks, all of the forwards activate all the forwards the opponent controls. So I guess it's a good way of just forcing them into an open, forcing them to block and potentially break a card. So if they're like, okay, I don't want to take any face damage, then they have to just, they're active, then they can't, they have to block if they want to. So that's pretty interesting, that one. The ability as well. Name one element. Rubicante cannot be chosen by summons or abilities, and the named element this turn, which is quite cool. So it's just for the same one, and another fire. We've got Irvin here. I quite like this one as well. Operates quite similar to the to Teller, quite similar. So it's a backup, and basically, when it focuses, let's focus this in. There you go. When Irvin enters the field, choose 1 forward, deal it 6,000 damage. It's quite cool. It's only for 3 drop. Quite a nice one. And then we've gone back to ninja. So yeah, that's a couple of the new fire stuff that's coming out. We've got a few water stuff here as well. So Astrologian, choose 1 forward, activate it. That's a tap plus 2 water. We've got just a standard unit knight for 7,000. It's really, next time I'm going to do it a lot better than this, but hopefully it focuses better on next time. If I do that, there we go. It's kind of the same actually. So then we've got another one here, Rosa. The card name Cecil. You control gains 1,000 power. Choose 1 forward to reduce the next damage deals to this turn by 1,000. What? There we go. It's quite nice. There was another one as well I think that this goes with. Yeah, here we go. So I'm going to keep this one in hand at the moment and move along to the elemental lightning thingamajig, which is Kane. Basically, these have got a little bit of synergy between these two. If you command card name Rosa, Kane gains 2,000 power, haste, and first strike. The job Dragoon and card name Dragoon forward other than Kane you control gain plus 2,000 power as well. So I quite like this card if you do run a lightning card, a lightning set, because basically With Rosa, you gain 2,000 power plus haste and first strike. And also you gain a little bit of synergy with Dragoon jobs and or the card name Dragoon as well. You get another 2,000. So forwards other than Kane, you control gain 2,000 power. So it's quite interesting. I do quite like that. I'm gonna maybe look into like running a Kane deck or something like that. Obviously, want to get better at the game. Next up, we've got the ice, and I've got quite a lot of ice here because I was using an ice deck when I went to events and picked a couple up. So we've got Shawler even. Let me put these two together actually, just to show you what I want to talk about here in terms of synergy. I'll leave them until last. So we've got Edward the forward. All forwards lose haste. Forwards cannot gain haste as well, which I think is quite nice. We've got Nero. If you control Weiss, this card gains 1,000 power when Nero blocks or is blocked by one forward. Is blocked, choose one forward and deal freeze it, which is quite cool. I got a friend who does have the Weiss card as well, and he did run that like synergy together. It's quite cool. Really interesting to see that those two working together there. We've got Moonbar, another quite a nice summon here. Basically, when you play this as an EX burst as well, you can choose one forward and deal damage equal. Basically, this card is saying, let's say we've got Nero for example. It's basically saying drop it to 1,000 health. So when you play it, drop the forward to 1,000 health, and that's essentially how it works. We've got Squall. This is one of my favourite cards here. I think it's stupid good. It's a 5-drop. However, it has first strike, and for each dull character your opponent controls, Squall gains 1,000 power. But when Squall attacks, you dull all the backups your opponent controls. So say for example you let the opponent attack you. You've got like 3 dulls out, you've got 3 dull forwards. When you attack with that means that you've got 9,000 damage. When you attack, you dull all the backups. So if they've got a full row of backups of like 5 or so, that's another 5,000 on top as well. So this card can get really powerful, and it always dulls the backups. It's stupid like how good this card is. I really like it. But yeah, it's a hero card as well. So it's also the poster boy for the artwork of the game. So of the new OPUS-2 set. I haven't used this card. It's was it Mateus? Final Fantasy 13. No, Final Fantasy 12. Opponent puts one attacking forward into the break zone. Quite nice, but for 5-drop, maybe hopefully you get it as a break or something. We've got Hardy. Deal all the forwards with a cost equal to the number of job Moogle you control. Oh, dull. Deal. Zargabath. When Zargabath enters the field, you may play a forward of any element except for ice of cost 3 or more from your hand. So basically you play that and you can play, like that 3 that's down there that you can't see because it's out of focus. We've got Bards. When Bard enters the field, dull all the backups opponent controls. So that can be quite interesting if you do need to have an issue, if you want to try and dull the backups. It's a really interesting kind of set you've got there. Next up we've got Squalor. It's a 2-drop. Choose one dull forward, deal 2,000 damage to it. Then we've got Legendary Imaginary Champion even. These are the Mannequin sets. I'm going to talk about those later on. This is a really nice card, I think, just because of what it does at the beginning. When you play it to the field, you and your opponent have to discard a card from their hands. So that can be quite annoying. Then you've got Black Mage. Put Black Mage into the break zone. No forward, cost 3 or less, can attack this turn. So that's very interesting there. Another Mannequin here. Capricious Reaper. So when Capricious Reaper is chosen by your opponent's summons or abilities, your opponent discards 1 card from his or her hands. So that can be another way to, kind of screw them over again. And you can run multiple of those as well, so I do quite like that. This is a really interesting card as well. It's another Jill. Another Jill Nabat. Backups don't deal damage to the forwards you control, which is quite good. It's basically a way of countering that Teller card I talked about earlier. And then we've got Shawler and Shulk. I think that's it, yeah. So here's the 2 kind of synergy cards that I managed to get here. Basically, when Shulk is played, if you may play a forward of any element or blah, 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 and basically when you play it to your hand, you could play it, you put it out and you can draw something else of another element of 2 or less. However, if you do that as well, the opponent discards 1 card from their hands. And it goes with Shawler as well. So this card here is if Shawler is in play, the if your Shulk is in play, you control. Oh, so basically, if Shulk is in play, this card buffs up to 7,000, so this will be a 7,000 card. And also, if you tap this and use the ability, it goes into the break zone, and at that point there, Shulk cannot take any damage, because it basically says any damage dealt to Shulk becomes 0 this turn. So it's quite an interesting card there. I do quite like that one. The kind of synergy between those two. Then we've got Wind. So here we've got Fallacious. Yeah, Fallacious Wanderer. I was thinking of someone else you probably not was thinking of. So when it enters the field, choose one backup of 2 winds you control, activate them. It's quite cool. Wait a minute, I just realised something. 2 choose wind characters you control, activate them. Man, that can be really good with Aerith. Is it really what I think? Yeah, okay, never mind. We've got this one. It's quite funny. Your opponent reveals their hands for free drop. Yeah. Balthier. When Balthier enters a sky field, you may search for 1 Fran and add it to your hands. Next up, we've got Ranger. Put a Ranger into the break zone, choose one backup and break it. It's quite funny because I was playing Final Fantasy 3 last year, so seeing some of these Final Fantasy 3 cards come back with the artwork's quite cool. Van 1-drops, not too bad. When Van enters the field, choose one backup you control, activate it. This is a Moogle ability job here. Choose as many forwards as job Moogle you control, activate them. Capricious Thief. Another Mannequin here. Cannot be blocked by a forward of 5 or more. Cannot be chosen by your opponent's summons or abilities during the opponent's turn. We've got Ninja. If Ninja deals damage to a forward, then double the damage instead. That's quite interesting. And that's that set there. What I'll do is I'll put these to the side as well, because I'm going to talk about the Mannequins in a sec. And also the Moogles, because there's a couple of new things coming in from what I can see from the game. Cool. Put these over to the side, these over to the side. For Earth, here's what I picked up. Another Mannequin, so Warrior of Antiquity. Basically, this is the more for every damage point you receive, this card goes up by 1,000. However, if you have received 6 points or more, this card then goes into the break zone. So the most you'll ever get is, does it go to 6? Yeah, so the most you'll ever get to then is 10,000, because once you hit 6, you can't play it for 11,000. You have to put it into the break zone. Quite a nice card here as well, Carbuncle. Choose one summon targeting a character you control, cancel the effect. It's quite cool. Vanille. When Vanille enters the field, you may play 1 Earth forward, cost 4 or less, into your hand onto the field. That's quite an interesting card. Bogmanan, whatever you want to call it. Cannot deal damage to your opponents. Opponent must block if possible, which is quite cool because it forces them to block. I like that one. And then the final legendary I picked up is this Warrior of Light, which is quite a nice card. Reduce the damage dealt to Job Warrior by 2,000. So basically it just takes 2,000 less damage from an attack. For the same card and 1 extra of any energy, choose one forward, deal it damage equal to the Warrior of Light's power. So basically, if you discard this and 1 extra energy, you can do 8,000 damage, which is not too bad. Oh, actually, no, that might be a bit wrong, because what you can do... Yeah, so currently, standardly, you can just play it as 8,000 damage when you play the ability. But if you were to buff the card to like 2,000, I guess if you played something like... Where was that card? Yeah, so what you could do is if you had Ifrit, you could give one of your forward units 1,000 plus power. So therefore... this now goes to 9,000, then you play that, and then you could play that for 9,000 if you wanted to. So that's quite an interesting, it's a pretty decent card, that is. Here are some of the foils that I picked up. Fallacious Wanderer, Time Mage, the Out of Focus, Spelius, and Dr. Sid. So that's what some of the new foils look like. And next up, we've got the two new jobs, which are Moogles first. So these are kind of working together. So basically, as you can see here, dull all the forwards of cost equal to the number of Moogles you control. So basically, when you've got like 4 Moogles out, not for this one actually because it's a backup, but for this one here. Oh yeah, no, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you can do it because it's a back. Oh yeah, because they're all backups. So basically, when you play the backups, you can then dull. So if I've got these 2, I can dull 2 forwards basically. The wind version is essentially choose as many forwards as job Moogle you control. So if I've got these 2 on the bench, I can then activate 2 forwards as well. So it's quite interesting, that is. And then next up, we've got the mannequins. These all work together and with quite a decent amount of synergy. I think it's 2 mannequins per element as well. So these all, there's one here. Yeah, no, I've got a couple. There was one mannequin which was essentially for each mannequin. It was the lightning mannequin, which essentially says that for each, if you control any other mannequin, that one goes up to another 2,000 points. These all seem to work with each other. You can have multiple of them out onto the bench, which is quite interesting. And yeah, so that's a couple of new stuff that's going to be coming. I'm pretty sure next time, by the time that I do my next video, I'll be a lot more confident of the game. But yeah, it comes out in the next couple of days as well, about 3 more days now. So it'll be quite interesting. Keep an eye out for some of those cards.